You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys. And today, we're actually shooting a podcast real time. I'm actually down here in beautiful Springfield, Ohio, hanging out with none other than Dylan with Solo Cuts Landscaping. How are we doing, brother?
I'm doing excellent. How are you today?
Living the dream, brother. It is like literally a freaking perfect, beautiful day.
Finally.
For the first time ever.
Yeah.
You guys been getting a lot of rain?
Yeah, seems like it's been more wet than not over the past month. And I think we were talking maybe 20 out of 30 days or something, we had gotten precipitation. So this is our first week of holy moly.
Yeah.
Clean weather. But then I guess they're calling for potential rain though, at the end of the week and the weekend.
I saw that actually. 40% chance of storms.
It was too good to be true for 2 weeks straight, but I think even though next week that's looking pretty good.
Well, I hope the weather holds off because we're moving 43 yards of mulch on Saturday. Again, another 40-yarder. It's going to be wild. But actually shooting this podcast real time, like I said, I'm actually down here shooting the on the shop tour series. We have Dylan on deck. I think you're sixth in the queue. We've already done 1 through 4. We just dropped Josh Sutton on Monday's episode on the podcast, and then also on YouTube was the video. And then Mitchell Gordy's actually next week Monday, and just kind of getting the queue a little bit ahead. We just shot yours this afternoon. Really, really cool time. So we're going to actually have that whole episode coming up here in a couple of weeks. So we're going to talk about the shop and his business setup a little bit on that episode. On this episode, I wanted to do a kind of a different topic, which when I got down here, we were just talking about the craziness of spring. We're talking about rain and precipitation and life and family. And one thing we were joking, we were just cutting up, to be honest with you. And Jordan's over here, his beautiful wife. And we were laughing that it can be a little stressful. It can be a little hectic. Yeah. And I said, that's probably a decent podcast topic that a lot. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys are out there and it just seems like the highlight reel, everybody's mowing grass, everybody's slinging mulch, everybody's doing their landscaping job, and everybody's hitting it all eight cylinders. And I don't know about you guys, but behind the scenes, I'm maybe having higher conversations with my wife. We're a little bit more stressed out. I'm pulled a little bit more thin. I'm getting home late. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm just working, and I'm getting a little bit dragged and ragged just through the season, through the spring rush. And right now we're kind of maybe halfway through that 6 to 8 week spring rush window for a lot of us, March, April, May, June. And you guys were laughing because you guys were we're having some interesting conversations. And I'm like, oh, is that a fight? You're like, no, do you want to see a fight? I'll give you a fight, So we're just laughing, having some fun here. But tell me about it. I mean, are you guys dealing with the same stuff that we're doing back at home? I mean, how do you guys deal with the spring rush? You were talking about a little bit of anxiety, these crazy demands by customers, weather, all this other stuff. Am I the only one out there dealing with a little bit of stress, or how do you guys get through your spring rushes?
You get through it. No.
You get through it?
No, there is times, everyone knows, because this is your time of getting in these 3 months.
Yeah.
And so, and then when the weather's throwing its wrenches at you, you feel like you're just kind of just treading in this sand. And you're like, get me out of here. But I don't know. I mean, it's almost like you just take it as it comes. A point I tried to do this year versus 2 years, the last 2 years is I'm trying to make it a point to be no, I am getting home between 5 and 6.
Sure.
Because I was always, I'm working till 6:30, 7 o'clock. Hey, sorry, Jordan, and I'm getting in at 8. And because we have 2 kids, 5 and 3. So it's I just roll in at 8, and it's oh yeah, I'll see the kids for a little bit, then they go to bed.
Right.
So this year I've really been tough at it of making sure I'm home between 5 and 6 in a sense, no matter what.
Right.
And
that's good.
I don't know. There's times where now, say for instance, I just buttoned up a job, going into the weekend. Well, we knew we were going to be getting rain Friday. So I was on that job by myself Wednesday, and Jacob was with me part of the day Thursday to finish that job up. And I was that Wednesday, I was okay, I'm going to be out here till about 7:30. Luckily, it's right around the street from the house.
Sure.
So that's nice too.
Yeah.
But I told, it was I told Jordan, I said, we're not working Friday because it's going to be a wash.
Right.
I said, I want to get this job done in the books by the time. So it's there's days where it's I say, hey,
It's a long day.
Yep. So that way we know, like, if I just put in a couple hours today, like either I don't have to come back here the next day, or that's going to set us up for like 2 hours of work the next day and we can go on to the next one or whatever. So there is a little bit of give and take because, she's understanding of the point of like, I mean, we're business owners, so you have you got to make the money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. So, but yeah, there's give and take. And plus like we talked about earlier, she's on nights now at her new job. So not only does, I want to make sure I'm home, whatever, but like that forces me to be home on her work nights. Cause like I have to be home
to transition
to be here with the kids when she's leaving.
That makes sense.
So I'm not upset about it either. Like I'd much rather be home than working.
Right.
Let's be honest. But cause I know I caught myself, the last couple of years, I was like, okay, I gotta get this job and gotta get this working. And I want to say it was Caleb. At one point in time, he had said something about it, and I think he read it in somewhere where it's like, like if you put in extra, I forget what the theory was, but like in long run, you're not gonna realize like those like working till 8 every time is not necessarily like going to get you that much farther in your work.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But there's also a point that he makes too, where it's like, but outside of 40 hours is where you kind of get ahead of this curve or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I think there's places and time to put in the extra hours. But like I said, I always try to,
counterbalance.
Counterbalance it out, because I mean it does, like when you put in just days and days and days of walking in at 8, like you don't want to do that and you're forcing yourself to do it, and it's mentally just taxing.
Ever wonder how to get the best looking lawn on the block? The kind where all the neighbors drive by slowly and stare at your well manicured masterpiece thinking you must be a turf wizard? Yeah, we thought so. At Earthway Products, we have your back with all the right lawn and garden tools that allow you to dominate and win the prize of best looking lawn on the block. We have all types of spreaders that are professional grade, built for accuracy, efficiency, and toughness. Simply said, Earthway products are engineered to last, and we have over 50 patents to prove it. That's our way of saying you can have confidence that our products will get the job done and make your life easier. We also have a fertilizer program that will help you grow a lawn greenskeepers will envy. So whether you're a homeowner, lawn care operator, facilities manager, business owner, or golf course superintendent, Earthway is here to help you make a perfect first impression. Stop by earthway.com and experience the difference. That's earthway.com. Proudly American made in America's heartland, Bristol, Indiana.
I'll be honest with you, I can totally relate. Like this time of year, there's some days where we are working 8 to 8. And do we want to be? Maybe. I mean, yes, I do. I want to be working. I want to crush it. I want to make the money. Like, it's like I heard Mike Bedell say the spring rush is kind of like the 6-week Christmas season from Black Friday to, let's say Christmas Eve, right? Mm-hmm. And it was stuck with me because it's true. It makes a lot of sense. Like we're doing all of our mulch installs, flower installs, of course, the first cuts, the spring rush. It's just like everything comes at you. It's like drinking out of a fire hose, right? Yeah. There you go. And that's what it feels like. But it's tough too, because you're trying to also balance like being a parent, being a dad, being a husband, being a father, being a son, even, to your parents or your mom or dad, right? And it's just like, dude, you're just wearing a bunch of hats. So for some of you guys listening in, and maybe you're stressed out, maybe you're wigged out, maybe you're like, dude, I don't know how much longer I can do this, right? Like I can totally relate. And it's just one piece of an encouragement word that I want to give to you guys. Like hang tight, like keep with it, just one foot in front of the other. Because the season will calm down. It always does, at least for us, around the first part of June. All that front end loading that we've done for the season, it's usually like we're getting over the hump, if you will. Yeah. And then it's kind of like it's kind of like another month of just hard work. Then it's kind of the dog days of summer, July, August, September. Ain't too much going on. We aren't doing, if we want to do extra mulch jobs, we'll schedule them. We'll go out and earn the work. But for me, I'm more of a maintenance business. So it's like the same mow schedule, Monday through Thursday. Yeah. It gets kind of repetitive, and that's okay. But yeah, if you guys are out there and like, I don't know if you guys can relate, but like, maybe those conversations you're having at home is like, you're working late again or this or that. Like, thankfully, Liz is like a very understanding wife. And and maybe some of you guys listening in, I'm not a marriage counselor here, but if you want to come to Together in the Trades, we'll have marriage counselors down there. A little plug for our marriage conference, June 25th. There you go. There's your refuel. Come on down to Nashville, Tennessee. I think we have like 20 tickets left. So if you guys want to come, seriously, consider it now because those are going to sell out. And so many people like can't wait to come on down. And that's kind of one of the reasons we're having the marriage conference is like, after the busy rush, come down, refuel, get away from all the crap, the life, this, that, maybe even the kids, for kind of luck, give them to the grandparents. Hey, we're gone for 2 days. Where are you guys going? Don't worry about it. We're gone. We ain't coming back. We just need some TLC.
Yeah, unplug a little bit.
We have to unplug, get some quality time together as a couple. But that's something like Liz and I, we're really, really fond of is Liz actually just booked a trip for us up in Traverse City area, Michigan, mid-June. Absolutely like serene, beautiful, awesome place, actually Bay Harbor area. It's where we go. We go Father's Day weekend usually. And it's just like after this 8 to 10 weeks of sometimes 12-hour days, 14-hour days.
Yep.
I mean, dude, I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing, just so you guys know. If you guys listen in, I'm up every day at 5 a.m., 5:30, 6 o'clock usually. And I'm out the door about 7:30, linking up with the guys at 8. I've already been at the storage lockers wrenching on something or retooling something for the next day. 7 to 6, just like you guys. And like you said, I want to get home. I want to see my baby girl.
Yeah.
But it's tough because like the mulch has to get done. The aerations have to get done. So any practical tips that you and Jordan work together with, because this is your third year full-time, right?
Correct. Yep.
So your third year full-time, have you guys noticed, do you guys take a break or a vacation or long weekends or maybe capitalize on those rain days? Any tips for these guys?
So once we kind of get through this little, like our spring rush phase, we definitely do take some long weekends. Like we go down to the lake with my parents. They got a boat down there. So we'll take, a long weekend, whether it's even like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and come back. Because like the lake, we love it. The kids love it. But we have, sometimes like when there's times where it's like you feel like you are just grinding, and like we even had this conversation. To be honest, we had just had a conversation about the other night, and we were talking about like when is the time to take a vacation?
Right.
Because it's like, say for instance in our business, it's like, okay, well, when is ever a good time?
It's never.
You know what I mean? Because it's like springtime, you're slammed out through springtime. Summertime comes and it's like because we do a lot, design installs. It's like, we're still, cranking whatever, it's just more or less like the lawns are slowing down a little bit, or we just don't have as much like mulch going in, whatever. And then fall time, it's right back up. But I told her, like kind of just like to look back. I was like, okay, look where we were at a year to look where we are now. I was like, a year ago, it was just me, we were doing this. And it was like, I was constantly just running. Then like last year, we had Jacob on. Things got a little better because I took the mowing off my plate for the most part.
Right.
You know what I mean? To where it was like, now he's doing the mowing, I'm just doing landscaping. So it's a little better on my schedule wise, like, mentally or whatever. And I'm able to come home early or whatever. And this year I was like, I was talking to her, I was like, look, like I'm still, not doing the mowing, focusing more on landscaping. And I was like, for the most part, like, I'm home like by 6.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're progressing like in that direction of the way to go. So it's like, it's not like an overnight thing. It definitely takes, like trial and error, you know what I mean? Like, learn, like keep adjusting, keep moving. So like I said, we know we're making progress in the right direction, and, we just try to do what we can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just busy.
Yeah.
And
there's no way to get around it.
No. And, we're trying like, a big thing too now is like, say for instance, like when it comes like quoting and estimates, like it's not like I'm just sending out now a mulch quote. Like, oh, yep, what's your square footage? Okay, send you a price. Like, here's $1,000 mulch install. Cool. Like, no, not like say that there's a design I drew up right there, and it's like there's so many
variables,
things going into these projects now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're just not small jobs. Like, there's so many different things I have to calculate for material wise. Like the job's getting bigger in itself. And it's like, that's one thing I've learned this year. I was like, I need to give myself a little more buffer when I'm talking to customers of like, hey, it's not going to be like a 3-day turnaround on your estimate, because like we're just every week it's 8 people I'm meeting with.
Yep.
So,
That's good though. Buffer, bigger windows.
Yeah. Just so that way someone's not expecting one in 3 weeks. I'm like, or 3 days. I'm like, hey, it's probably I don't get it to them in 2 weeks.
It's a good tip. What do they say? Like under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
So hey, we normally get our designs back within 7 days. Yep. Get it back in 4. Where you're used to it in 3.
Yep.
But if you get it back in 4 and you told them 7, then like, hey, you're batting 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, and you look great.
Yep.
But don't tell people, hey, I'll get this back to you. That's one thing. I ranted about this on a podcast, I think a Friday or 2 ago, but I said like your chaos and calamity is not my problem.
Yeah.
I said, here's the deal. Like if you want to do that extra work for those folks, just tell them, hey, we're busy. Hey, we're booked up. Like give yourself some buffer. Like it's the customers aren't going anywhere. They're going to be there, you know, but don't sacrifice your family or your business or this or that just because somebody wants something done tomorrow.
Yep. And I've had to tell people that of like, you know, they'll call for just like small mulch and some trimmings and stuff. And I'm like, we're booked into June, like knocking on July, especially like if, you know, that middle row there is all landscape designs in the queue waiting to be confirmed. Those confirmed we're into September. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just like that. So I always tell people that as soon as I get this to you, the sooner you can accept this, you got your spot on the thing.
On the schedule,
so you drag your feet. All I need is 4 of those to go through, and
you got like 20 on the board right there, actually.
All I need is for those to go through.
Board behind me. I'm like, oh, he is actually pointing at something.
All I need is for those to go through.
That's awesome, though. Wow.
And we're booked into September like that. And then
I know I talked to Bedell a bunch, and he's like, so what part of 2023 do you want to get this done? Because it's next year. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because he's like, dude, because I text him all the time because I love to keep in touch with him and see what he's got going on for the schedule. And I get a lot of calls because my business address is actually in the same city where he's based out of. So I get a lot of calls. So I'm like, hey, do you want this? It's in, you know, your backyard. And I'm in a different city, even though my address is in a different part of town, obviously. But I'm like, hey, do you want anything else? And he's like, no, dude, I'm booked through like August, September. He goes, unless it's like this revenue amount or this type of project or type of client. Because we network and stuff. And I'm trying to help him grow. But it's one of those things like, he's like, no, dude, I'm just so you know where I'm at. I'm booked through like August, September. I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah, dude. I'm like, that's solid. Like that's wild. But it's helpful to work out of a calendar too. So you're not always just running around all crazy and stuff. Now, one thing, there's a tip that I wanted to just share with you guys, and maybe this helps you out. I don't know I don't know what we titled this podcast episode. Maybe just some helpful tips during the spring rush. But one thing too is, and somebody will probably push back on this and say, yeah, you're crazy. Like there's work to do. But something that I've been really, really trying hard with my guys since last year was getting done every day at 4:00. I know it sounds weird because people are like, well, man, the sun's out, spring rush. We should be working 7 to 7 days a week. And I'm like, you know, I tried that. I did that for a decade. All I was tired, exhausted, no family time, no personal time. Everybody's always big on like self-care and, you know, taking care of yourself these days. And you should meditate. You should work out. You should go do something fun on the weekends. And I'm like, yeah. That's for like the weak people, right? As I get older, the more I realize like how actual successful people work, I realize they do take a lot of time for themselves. They don't let their work run their life. They plan their vacations first and they let work fill in the cracks. And so one thing that might just help some of you guys out was, look, the work's always going to be there. The work is always going to get done. Yes, it has to get done. I'm not naive. However, I found that my guys were a lot happier working 4/8 mowing and then doing odds and ends on Fridays and Saturdays than working like dogs, you know, working 10-hour days, 8 to 6. And I'm like, yeah, guys, we got to make the money though. And they're like, but why? We don't get any of it. What? So they can make an extra $15 per hour? Now, I've went from that to working 8 to 4, paying my guys more because we get more done in that same amount of time, and we get in, we get out. Now they're like excited. Now they're motivated. Now they're more productive. They're getting paid more. We're getting higher quality work, and we're all done by 4, so they can get home 4:30. Back in the day, they'd be working till 5:30, 6 o'clock, myself included. They get home, you shower, you eat. It's 8 o'clock at night. The day is gone. Now when they get home, they shower, clean up. It's 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they could still go hang out with their friends. They can still go to the movies on a weeknight or to a restaurant and hang out. And that's really important to kids. You know, if you guys are listening in, you got 18, 20, 25-year-olds working for you. They want to get home. They don't want to be working until 6 o'clock at night. So I don't know. Who's the guy that's working with you right
Jacob.
now? What do you guys do with him? How's his schedule?
So here lately, I feel like our schedule's kind of been everywhere.
8 to 8, 6 days a week, Brian. No.
yeah, right. No, and I'll be honest, there's been times where like he has even just like, okay, like when we were mulching at HOA, it was like we had got I think we only did like a 3-day work week that week or something. And I was like, hey, I said, I don't care one way or another. Because Easton's first ball game was then, so I had to bounce out.
Sure.
And I was like, hey, I don't care one way or another. But I was like, if you feel up to it, because you know, we only worked 3 days this week and you want some hours, I said, if you want to stick around and finish this, you know, our mulch at our HOA, I was like, I'll pay you your hours and I'll give you $100 cash.
Yep.
To, you know, like, cause like that is it was one of those things where it's like, as much as like the $100 cash and extra hours are going to benefit him, it's ultimately benefiting like the company.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? Cause like, hey, we don't have to come back and we're done.
Exactly.
But I told him, I was like, I don't care. Like we will come back. But I said, I'm just offering it. Like if you want to stick around because you didn't get many hours this week, have at it. You know, there's times where he has taken like last night, we got done mowing. It was like, I don't know. I think it was around 5 or so, 5:30, I think. Yeah. And we were back at the shop, and he's like, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and knock these last 2 out.
That's awesome.
Like where the office, there our shop
is,
and then next door. He was like, that's just 2 less I have to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because he's, you know, typically on Tuesday he's by himself.
Yeah.
He was like, that's just 2 less I have to do tomorrow. I'll just go ahead and knock them out. I was like,
hey, you?
If that's what you want, like if that makes you going into the next day easier, do it. You know what I mean? Whatever. So like, so I would say our mowing days are typically going to be like our longer-ish days. But like when it comes to like our landscape work, I do try to be like, hey, we're getting back to the shop like 5 o'clock. Yeah. Yep. Like
that's good.
Because you know, a lot of times, sometimes it can be earlier if it's like one of those things where it's like, dude, like we're at a stopping point to where like there's no sense in starting this next phase of this project to get like an hour into it and then like, oh, well, now we got to clean up and like you didn't really make any progress. You just kind of wasted an hour.
Yep.
So yeah, and like I said, I think the big thing though here lately just been like our weather has been awful and like
it's a balance.
And like we were talking about on that one job, like the big job that we just finished up. How I was like, I would never schedule that large of a job. And to some people, they may be like, that's not even a big job. But for us, it was our biggest job we've ever done. And I was like, I'll never start scheduling that stuff until May 1. Yeah. I'm going to get through that April month of doing whatever. Cause
April showers.
Like, you know, there's days where like we weren't showing up to the job site till 12.
Yeah.
Because our first half was rain. So I was like, okay, we'll get started at 12. So then we'll work like 12 to 5, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so it's just the last month has been tough. The weather's looking promising. So I'm like, okay, hopefully we can get back to a little more normality. And, you know, we'll be able to hopefully be cruising through here.
One other tip I want to just highlight really quick that you said too is like little cash tips do go a long way. I mean, because I actually heard it on Caleb and Brittany Allman's podcast. Even Caleb was like having a conversation with Brittany and he was like, she's like, I don't understand. Like, there's this other job that they can do. It's like a service call or something. It's 2-3 hours worth of work. If we send 3 guys, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, that's 3 labor hours. She goes, why can't they finish up that service call and not do it the next day and just kind of button it up when they're getting done at 3:30 on a job? Why can't they just go button that all up? And Caleb's like, makes sense to you, but what's the incentive for the employee to be like, yeah, let's go finish up that service call so we can start a whole fresh day of bull crap tomorrow? Yeah. That's just not how employees think. And I know we're all go, and we're optimized, we're hustling, we're productive. Minutes matter, I always joke. But like your employees aren't always thinking that way. However, if you can tell your employees, hey, if we can get this something, certain checkpoint, certain benchmark, certain amount of lawns done or this buttoned up or get to this level and say, hey guys, if we can get here, actually, this would be a really good, stopping point. And then either tell them, hey, I'll give you a $50, cash bonus today. Or when you're done, surprise them and say, here's a $50 cash bonus. Thanks for finishing up strong and doing a little bit of extra. That's going to incentivize them. Yep. Over the next, now you don't have to pay them, a tip necessarily on every job you do or every day, because you don't want it to be expected. Yep. However, they're like, whoa, holy crap! He just gave me $25. It doesn't have to be $100 or $50. I'll come work for you, Dylan. That's pretty generous, But if you give them a $25 tip, and they're like, hey, if you give me $25 for finishing up early on this one, maybe next one I'll get it. And then you don't, and he goes, oh, damn it. But then the one after that, he gets done early, and you give him another $25 tip. He goes, oh, and then you say, hey, like, the business makes more money. I'm totally interested in sharing, helping you guys out, giving you a kickback, a little incentive, a little cash bonus. So, for instance, we did this mulch job. A little personal story. We did a 20 what was it? Gosh, it was a 17-yard mulch job, another 17-yard mulch job. They were right next to each other, 2 sites. And then we did a 3-yarder. So it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:45 in the afternoon on Saturday. We just finished up 34 yards of mulch at the these 2 locations, the tire shop I do and the place next door. I don't want to give out names. You can tell. I'm trying to like skate around here. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like kind of snaking sites, bro. I'm like, back off, man. I got mine. You go get yours. You know?
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Say that again.
A lot's changed in 4 or 5 years. I got people down the road like, man, they're like, I know where that exact site. I'm like, I've never put the name on it. Like, I used to do that site. I'm like, what? It's getting weird. But anyway, so down the road, I had 3 yards that I had dropped off. I'd staged at this other site. And so those 3 yards, $125 a yard installed, $375. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, guys, if we can all just go down the road about 1.5 miles to this other commercial business and just install this, I can just get a job off my mind, off the schedule. It wasn't even like really the money. It's just, dude, I got 11 jobs.
Yep.
We're just like chipping them off through the spring rush.
Yep.
I'm like, I just want one more.
That's what this week is for us. We have these small jobs, that are like between, honestly, like probably like $800 to like $1,700 jobs where I'm like, if we could just chip those off, that'll bleed us right into our next 3 large jobs that we have ready to go.
Yeah.
But I just got to get these 3 done.
That's it.
Or not these 3 done, but this batch done.
Yeah.
Just clear the slate. Because like our schedule, what I'm wanting to do this year is do like, say like 2-3 weeks of like larger install work and then have a week of the mulching, the shrub trimmings, whatever. Because like what I ran into last year was, because I didn't have Jacob with me at the time till he got out of school, I was like, sorry, I can't get to your mulch till July.
Right.
Well, this way, if I do like a 2 and 3 week install time and then a 1 week of maintenance, I can be like, oh yeah, we can get to you in 2 weeks.
That's cool.
Or hey, we can get to you in 3 weeks, so I don't lose out on that. You know what I mean? Versus
you don't want to wait
no
forever.
one in April is going to wait till July for their mulch.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
They're not going to. It's just mulch.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's something I'm trying. So that's like we got off that big job. This is our first week of. Now we're just gonna mow through these mulch jobs, some light install work, and get on to the next one.
Well, those little perks and incentives help. Like the extra 3 yards that we moved at the commercial site, I gave the guys that helped each another $25.
Yep.
Like let's say I got $95 in the job in mulch, a little overhead, a little this, a little that, whatever. 100 minus what? 375 is 275. So I gave $75 in bonuses. I still made $200 in the job. And like you said, it's just another one off the schedule.
Yep.
But they weren't expecting that. But I was like, well, because I'm thinking to myself, at 2:45 in the afternoon, do I want to go start another job on a Saturday? Hell no. No, I'm going to go home, right?
Yeah.
They want to go home. But I was like, hey, if we go tag that up really quick, I'll give you guys an extra $25 cash. They're like, yeah, I'm in. I'm down. Now, money's not always going to motivate people. Sometimes they just want to get to the lake.
Yeah.
On the weekends in the summertime.
Yep.
Because we get like 4 nice days of summer here in Michigan and 6 in Ohio.
So with Jacob, we was it last week?
Yeah.
We're finishing up, and I said, hey, I was like, okay, we just got off this one job. We didn't, we hadn't had a time to just like, let's just get our home base back in order. Like our shop, like let's just like we had. Tools in the back of his truck, tools in the back of my truck. Some of the dump trails, like, okay.
You're running hot.
We just need to just, so I was like, hey, let's spend an extra. So I think he ended up getting out of the shop. We ended up getting out there at 6:30 on the Thursday. And he had mentioned something about going down to Tennessee where he went to school.
Okay.
Because some of his friends were graduating.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, hey, by the way, go ahead and leave. Tomorrow, you got it off. Enjoy your weekend in Tennessee.
Nice.
And like, he was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, what I mean? But he had just mentioned it at like one time saying something. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, don't worry about coming in tomorrow. We just cranked a lot. Like we had a solid week.
That's awesome.
So, just, I don't know, because it's little things. I try to always just, I don't know. I just always try to help him out. You know what I mean? Like, or just like, I don't know. I just try to, I don't spoil him. No, but it's like, I do try to be like, hey man, like
sensitive,
you are
cognizant.
appreciated. You know what I mean? Like I always tell him, like today, he was telling me, he's like, man, 2 of our largest accounts that we do residential wise, he's like, dude, I had to double cut, even triple cut some of it.
Wow. Yeah.
And he had double cut all of it and then triple cut some areas. So he's like, I'm heading to Enon. I'm a few hours behind. I was like, whatever, don't worry about it. Like, as long as the property looks great when you're done.
Yep.
Hey, you're not going to really hear me complain.
Yep.
Of course, I would be like, hey, can you move a little faster? Always.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
No. But I was just like, just
No, that's good.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when I got off the phone, I was like, man, I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, I guess I'll button it up right here. Last thought I have is I've said this many times on podcasts. Like, the work will get done. That's why I always say it. Like, the work. Now, somebody's got to do the work.
Yeah.
It's not like this like Pollyanna, like, oh, the work's gonna get done. That's great. Like, little angels are gonna move your 200 yards of mulch. Unfortunately, that's not how it works in our industry. No, not in my business. Maybe
it doesn't.
Those angels must have passed over in Ohio too. Yeah, they're going straight to the Plain States. That's how it works in Missouri. But in Michigan, we still have to pitchfork and shovel our way to wealth. Dingo and use the mulch force. That's what I got. You get the dingo. Yeah. But any which way, I always say the work will get done. Don't fret. Don't freak out. Liz and I did a podcast. It was actually a really good podcast. Liz and I did talking about marriage stuff. We said talking about high highs and low lows. When you have high days, double down, do more exciting things on high days when you guys are winning. On low days, don't make any rash decisions. Don't make any stupid decisions. Don't make any long-term decisions, marriage decisions, financial decisions when you're on the doldrums in the pits. Yeah. So if you're having a fight, get some space. So if you guys are fighting, maybe you and your spouse or your wife, how about you just take a break? Take a break and chill out. Calm down. Leave. One of you leave. Go around the block. Go get some food. Go hang out. I'm talking real life practical stuff. Liz and I have been together for almost 10 years now. Married for 8 in October. We don't have it all figured out.
7.
Yeah, 7.
7 May 16th.
Married? Good for you guys. That's awesome. And you're 31?
31. Yeah.
31. That's awesome. We've had highs, we've had lows. I'm just telling you guys, this is what works for us. Sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you just need to hey, I'm going to go for a walk around the block. You're like, I'm going to go walk around the block at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. That actually might do you some good instead of punching holes in the wall and ripping doors and banging doors and saying, you're never home for the kids. Look, I've been there. We've been there. We get it. Liz and I were having a fight the other day. I was joking. It's funny now. We'll laugh at it now. But Liz was she was giving me gruff about, I didn't even know what toy. She asked me for a toy. I didn't even know we owned it. And she's like, can you go grab it? And she goes, you're working so much, you don't even know what toy Emmy has. And I was like, oh. And then, I'm like, well, I'm working so hard to buy the toy that you don't even appreciate the And then you guys know where that went. It's just crazy cycled out of control. And we're arguing at 9:30 at night. Emmy's watching two morons fight. And I'm and I was like, you know what? Time out. Let's have a break. Neither of us woke up this morning wanting to kill each other. I'm not doing it. Yep. I'm tired. You're tired. We're probably both, there's 3 S's, sleep, supper, and what's the third S, Dylan? Sports?
Something like that.
I think it's sports. That's
Paul.
That's what he called one call. That's all. But if a guy's whiny and cranky, he's probably looking for one of the 3, okay? And I just said, look, I haven't ate dinner. I'm exhausted.
And I definitely haven't had
And I haven't watched Sports Center tonight, okay? And ladies, they need time. They need quality time, emotional conversation, whatever, emotional support. They need quality time, conversation. They need to know you're listening to them. They need a break. They need to walk around the block. My Indian friends out there, they all after dinner, there's actually a name for it, but they walk around the block at 7, 8 o'clock. Back at home, a lot of Indian people. And at night, I'm like, why do they walk around?
Digestion?
I don't know. Well, it's a calming prayer-esque kind of a walk. There's actually a whole name for it because I googled why do Indian people walk around the block at night?
Yeah.
And I'm it's they walk around to after dinner. It's a family thing, and they'll chill out and I don't know if
everyone's happy after a full belly.
Probably, but it's just they go and they actually spend an hour around the block and they actually know everybody and they talk to people and they have friends and neighbors, and I'm maybe there's something there. So Liz and I we'll walk around the block all the time now at 7, 8 o'clock at night. We actually literally all the time. That's when we do our Instagram stories. You guys see us being goofballs and stuff. But I'm hey, we need to get out of the house after dinner.
Yeah.
Just get out of the house for an hour, 20 minutes even. Go get the mail and come back. Just do one loop around the block. It will do wonders for you guys.
And it's not also too, because I'm sure you can say it's not even just for the wife either. Because the guys go through, you know what I mean?
I need it.
There's times where it's where I'm I am up to here with just the stress of everything.
Business.
You know what I mean? Because it's you come home, you know what I mean? It's you both got to try and tackle the house, tackle the kids, blah, blah, blah. And you're I really need time too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not just for the wife.
Yes. No,
what I've noticed, and I've been better at this year, and my wife even complimented me on it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
But no is the communication part.
Good. Yeah.
Because there's times where I'd be before I would just swallow my pride, just not say anything. If something's bothering me, whatever.
Fester.
And then next thing you know,
boom.
I just have a moment. Yeah.
A moment.
But then What I got better at though is like just like once something's like on my mind about it, it's like, hey, talk it out, get it out in the open.
Oh, there's times I'm like, I level with Liz. I just like have an emotional breakdown. She's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Like, just
I'm like, these people want mulch. I have 30 effing missed calls. Who calls for we're joking earlier. I'm like, who calls for lawn care in May? Like everybody. But I'm like, why didn't you call in March? The route is done.
Saturday, 11 o'clock. Why is someone inquiring?
Sunday, 9 p.m. on
right now.
Sunday, 9 p.m. Mother's Day. I'm like, why are you texting me? Go away. Don't you have a mom? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm like, go away. I'm telling you, like, I'm not like a huge like foo self-care person, but I am you need the self-care. And I wouldn't be like as a rough guy, I'd be like, oh, self-care. But you do need a hobby. You gotta go, you gotta fish, you gotta shoot, you gotta go ride a 4-wheeler, you gotta go get a 2-day vacation. By the way, spend some money on your dang wife. You're doing all these stupid mulch jobs. Oh, we're making all this money. I'm gonna make $1,200. Hey, why don't you go buy your wife a spa day for $165? I'm telling you, it's the best money you ever spent. I sent Liz away to the spa like for 4 hours. Dude, it was like not even $200.
Yep.
Because at the end of it, I'm like, how much was that? Like, you're going for, I'm like, am I going to get hit with like $350 here?
Yeah, you paying for the hour?
Just asking for a friend, you know what I'm saying?
My hourly rate's at 4 hours.
Dude, no shoe, right? I was like, dude, for real. I was like, well, she got like facial this and massage that and their nails and their pedicure, I guess, and all this mess. I'm like, carry the 2, add the 6, Fibonacci sequence. I'm like, that's like eight bills, I'm like, she's like, no, it's like $165. I'm like, shit, why don't you book that Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and every 5th Friday? You know what I'm saying? Like, because she came back, she's all like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, that's weird. And she's like, I'm like, you want to try for baby number 2 already? So, but.
Do what you love what you
and that's what I said. I used the line earlier. I said, Jordan, is that how it works around here? She's like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like, right into the shower. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, Mr. Solo Cuts. That's how you guys run the show. Yeah. I said, we don't have a shower that big. We rent. So, but great job on the remodel here. Dylan's got one room. It's a bathroom and a little living room space here. So that's how he reprioritizes his house. This is marriage conference type stuff. Coming down together in the trades, you'll get the rest of it. But is this helpful tips?
Push this through you or let this push you through your spring rush.
Yeah, this is your motivation.
Yeah.
With Dylan, this is marriage life advice and how to keep your sanity through spring. But in all sincerity,
it is tough. It is a tough time though. Not to make
light of it.
Yeah, it is tough. It is a grind.
I'll tell you guys, Liz and I, we know 10, 12 weeks, it's tough. I always joke like I'm on deployment and it's tough because you don't want to say that. You want to work, you want to get the money, you want to make the money, and there's a lot of money to be made. But it's always like just make sure you guys have an exit strategy, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like book a long weekend, go to the Memorial Day, state fair or whatever, the 4th of July town fair. There's always something like the sidewalk days, like in your downtown little cute area of town. Like go there on a Saturday, Sunday. Like after your big stuff gets done on Saturdays, like stop working Saturdays. Like you said, maybe even start peeling back to a half a day on Friday. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna work spring, make it count. That's one thing I'll say too is don't just work long hours to work long hours. Dude, I'm paying the price. I hate that kind of conversation. Like I'm just hustling to hustle. Like hustle with intentionality. Like work to get done. Don't work to just say you're like the hardest working guy out there. So if you are going to put in those hours, be productive. Have your guys ready. Have your equipment ready. Be smart. Get up an extra hour early. I've been getting up every day, literally at 5:30, 5:50 in the morning. At 5:50, I hit I get up. I hit snooze once. I'm up at 6. I'm crushing, doing a bunch of stuff and emails and all this mess. It's been really, really transformative this whole spring, getting up an extra hour early. It's something that I've been doing for a little while now. And it's, how do you get so much done? I'm like, because I just get up an hour early. And yeah, you're tired for the first 10 minutes, but
once you're up, you're up.
Yeah. And then you know what? At 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm like, how did I ever even organize my life without getting up an hour earlier? Because then I'd get up at, back in the day, 7:30, stumble over to the shop. Hey guys, this sucks. I don't want to be here either.
Yeah.
And you just have a bad attitude. And now I get there at 7:30, 7:45, and I'm like, got an energy drink in me. Maybe you guys are coffee people. You're ready to go. You're upbeat. You're organized. You already shot those stupid emails out that just get in the way at, that you're now trying to answer at 10 a.m., but they're already out of the way. And now you're just ready to work and be productive. So those are some helpful tips I got. This actually went a little bit longer than I thought, but this is good. This is good. Anything you want to leave with these guys?
Hope you guys have a great spring.
What's that?
And we'll talk to you later.
we'll talk at you later. All right. There you go. Do what you love what you do.
That's right.
Actually, in a couple of weeks, we'll have your shop tour video, which is really cool.
Yep.
Thanks for real. Thanks for opening up your place, spending the whole day with me.
Yeah.
I got done here about 11 o'clock. I said, dude, I don't want to cost you a whole day of work. Like, do something productive. Do you need me to work a trimmer? You're like, no, dude, I'm spending the whole day with you. I'm like, you sure? You're like, yeah, dude, I got my guys out. We're doing this, coordinating that. So thank you.
Yeah.
If you guys want to reciprocate, show some love, maybe share the podcast on Instagram. We always appreciate that. And then within a week or two, we'll have Dylan's shop tour podcast and shop tour video on YouTube. So make sure you guys come by, check that out. Maybe leave a comment. Hey, heard the podcast for Spring Rush tips.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's what I got. So Mr. Dylan Stephenson, where can they find you? And then we'll button it up.
Solo Cuts Landscaping on Instagram. And that is the best place to find me.
You also got a YouTube channel, too.
Also got a YouTube channel. You can check us out there, Solo Cuts Landscaping.
Bunch of great videos there.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, that's what we got. Hope this helps you guys out. Some quick tips, some fun tips. But we just wish you guys the best with the spring rush, and hope you guys business is doing well, relationships are doing well, and we'll button it up here. So let's get back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, down in ETL, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Ever wonder how to get the best looking lawn on the block? You know, the kind where all the neighbors drive by slowly and stare at your well manicured masterpiece thinking you must be a turf wizard? Yeah, we thought so. At Earthway Products, we have your back with all the right lawn and garden tools that allow you to dominate and win the prize of best looking lawn on the block. We have all types of spreaders that are professional grade, built for accuracy, efficiency, and toughness. Simply said, Earthway products are engineered to last, and we have over 50 patents to prove it. That's our way of saying you can have confidence that our products will get the job done and make your life easier. We also have a fertilizer program that will help you grow a lawn greenskeepers will envy. So whether you're a homeowner, lawn care operator, facilities manager, business owner, or golf course superintendent, Earthway is here to help you make a perfect first impression. Stop by earthway.com and experience the difference. That's earthway.com. Proudly American made in America's heartland, Bristol, Indiana.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.